Hello everyone and welcome to another pick a card reading, which is not going to be pick a card at all. And the reason for this is the theme and the topic of the reading. So I would like to offer some tarot guidance for the upcoming Uranian activities, because Uranus is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and there are a lot of people out there for whom their personal Uranus activates in their charts, or for other people still, the transiting Uranus hits a very important point in their charts. So, this guidance is basically how to cope with this Uranian activity with a tarot perspective. I made a video about it, the astrological perspective, so I would like just to consult the divine to what it can guide us, or any kind of message it can give us to how to prepare for the upcoming very strong Uranus activation. So I'm probably going to have a separate video available with this theme. On the 31st of July, Uranus, the North Node, and Mars meet in the sky in the sign of Taurus. So that is a very strong activation of Uranus. And each and every time Uranus and Mars converse, especially in a conjunction, there are effects, shocks, surprises, revelations, truth coming out. Physically in the world, of course, we can expect seismic activity, and we can also expect very, very sudden, quick, spontaneous political change. For example, what happened in Sri Lanka is Uranus at its finest. But of course, surprises, shock, unexpected, or a different degree of awareness is likely to play out in our individual lives as well. And some people might have it in a delicate part of their charts. Some people might be not affected necessarily personally, but if the lives of their friends, family, loved ones is affected, then it echoes through them. So, long story short, this is how to prepare ourselves for the upcoming strong activation of Uranus. So, as I said, 31st July, North Node meeting Mars and Uranus. And we can also expect some form of explosion, some form of detonation. We can also expect physical shock, electricity, and we can also expect shock from nature. So that means when nature kind of shocks us in any way, shape, and form, or whatever that may mean. Financially, on the other hand, that's almost certain to be a disruption, a sudden reset, perhaps, or a sudden rise and fall. So, fall of something, sudden disruption, and the unexpected rise of its successor, if that even makes sense. We can also expect new technologies coming out, new shocking scientific discoveries, perhaps some unexpected prototypes within the robotics industry, artificial intelligence. So everything that has to do with the power of technology is activated at this time. But more importantly, everything that is necessarily and divinely meant to come to our awareness collectively, that is also in the picture. So let's prepare for that kind of shocks and surprises as well. And the other thing is that, Uranus is further activated when it will meet with Saturn in a square formation later on. And, that's also Saturn involved. We got a really, really good taste of it. And of course, the best of the best, not in the most positive sense possible, in 2021. It was such a struggle. And that theme might be playing out, but as a finale later on in the year, in the autumn. So it's not gonna be a very linear energy, and as I said, this is where the opinions of astrologers differ. Some people think that without a doubt Uranus has the upper hand because it's the future and Saturn is the past, while other people think that, well, Saturn is the classical ruler of Aquarius and Uranus in the sign of Taurus is in fall. So, purely energetically speaking, not symbolically, Saturn is the bigger power player here, but Saturn also has to take on its more Uranian qualities in the sign of Aquarius. So even the Saturn that we know today wants Uranus to win a little bit. So perhaps Saturn is forcing Uranus to be gentle. That's how I am perceiving this celestial conversation. But this, how does it play out collectively? That's where there can be no gentleness, can it? So, anyway, long story short, let's get to the tarot reading of what we can expect. Now we have this Princess of Pentacles with the King of Wands. This does represent that whatever it is that we experience, or however it is that this plays out in our lives, we can only take it as an opportunity, as an advantage. And even if there is for some people a loss here, because Mars and Uranus and the North Node, any kind of loss, anything that might break down, well, it's divinely orchestrated and it's for your greatest good. Because this is where the King of Wands is, and the Fool reversed, renewal. But the Fool reversed represents, in tarot, it's exactly Uranus. So reversed Uranus retrograde. So basically this might suggest that we only get the better of this energy when Uranus goes retrograde. While Uranus is direct, this might feel as a constant survival, having to stay as tough as possible constantly. This is an inner urge. But when Uranus goes retrograde, this might feel as we're ready to do something. Because you see the Queen of Wands, the King and the Queen. So the King is more like the sovereign defender, the sovereign ruler. The Queen is the adaptable one, where she makes, how should I say, different choices, where she can readapt. She's strategical, she is patient if needed, and that's very rare trait for the fire element. So the Queen is more tempered. So what this represents is that right now we may be getting the more masculine expression of the energies, which are not that easy to bear, materially speaking, because it forces us to necessarily have to stand tall, at least in one area of our lives, and that's very tiresome. But after Uranus retrograde comes the feminine expression of the energy, will come online, so to speak, and the feminine expression is much more creative. It is where it wants to achieve, it wants to solve the situation, it wants to have her cake and eat it. So that might be much more favorable. But this is where we also have like almost like an ironic message here. Whatever, because this Fool reversed, now this means surprise, surprise. This means new beginning. This means leap of faith, but not the way we ever experienced it before. So this is new for every one of us. This is something so new that no one will be comfortable and okay with it. and I don't want to make this what it's not. So it's not where riches fall from the sky or divine paves the path for you. This is where, like, you almost end up, the world is a jungle, what do you do? But this is still very, very favorable, because this is where, how should I say, whatever this spontaneous new beginning is, this can be something new appearing in the world in the benefit of all of us. We just have to learn to how to use it, or get to it, or whatever. Or this can simply mean that finally we have an inner epiphany, a personal eureka moment that discards our current plans and the way we see life currently in a millisecond. But that is not necessarily bad, that can be very, very good. Yes, of course, you might be thinking that we did all this inner work for years and years and years and learned and so much, why for that to be nullified in a second? No, this is not like nullification. This is where you get something so good that your past knowledge, well, it will always serve you, but this is where that upgrades. So it's still that what you learned, what you worked for, what was given to you, but now you know how you will be taught or forced or whatever this will mean to use it in the way it was always supposed to, and that is what's hardcore and unexpected. And you see the Eight of Cups reversed, and the Prince of Wands, again, such a strong Wands energy, Mars of course. There is no escape. Because the Eight of Cups reversed, that's what it means. There is no escape. This is where all of us have to stand tall and just basically rule over our beings and do what is necessary in our lives, do what's necessary for ourselves. Because as I said, whatever this Uranus is empowerment. It is truth, it is awareness. It is something that we need to ultimately turn into a blessing. For some people, look what appeared. The Temperance Reversed and the Six of Cups Reversed. This is where a situation which left you with a childhood trauma might spontaneously, but just the situation, not the same thing, appear in your life to show you how profoundly you already healed. So this is where a lot of people out there are gonna have healing gestures, are gonna have some powerful healing moments in their lives. And this is, yes, it's atypical to Uranus, very, very atypical. But then again, Uranus in the sign of Taurus is alternative medicine, and Uranus is also awareness. So if a trauma, for example, or an old hurt or wound or whatever, is simply so outdated and you're the one keeping it alive, then Uranus will reveal that to you, in the sense that how easy it is to let go if you truly want. It will just make you want it. And we also have the Three of Wands and the Prince of Swords, communication. This is where a lot of people are gonna launch themselves, if that makes sense to you. Coming out finally. You know, and a lot of people are gonna have alliances. Even those who think, well, I'm never gonna even have an acquaintance, not to mention an alliance. Not only that, but those who don't have partners and really, really, really need it, a partner will show up, just that you can't hair split. It will be out of alliance more than anything else. So this is where this tells us that the disruption and perhaps Jupiter in the sign of Aries will have a lot of help for us, regardless of how unusually, or regardless of how drastically this full moment changes our worldview, because this is really worldview. We become aware in a sudden that everything is different. A bit like 2020, Or a bit like 2021, because as soon as the Saturn and Uranus square died down, broke down, well, immediately restrictions were lifted, but in such a way where we also saw how ridiculous they were and how ineffective. And that in itself is lie. Because even if you mislead someone out of incompetence, well, still. Yeah, a leader falls. An alliance breaks. In the world out there, an alliance breaks. Something happens, and old alliance either breaks, or an alliance which should not exist is gonna be revealed. That something was not as it was delivered to us. Anyway, this is not. I should rather just shut up with this. But this is where, surprise, surprise, you have someone is in love with you and you had no idea, and now things are gonna get revealed. So this will change the situation of a lot of people. A lot of people. Princess of Pentacles, either materially, but not necessarily that a chunk of money pops out from the sky, but you suddenly, unexpectedly, surprise, surprise, have a way to survive, live, or you have some kind of support or something. For other people, they're not as alone as they think they are. For other people, still, they don't need to abandon something. May that be a job, business, etc., or a dream. Even if it's put on hold a little bit, while put on hold, it will grow in such a way that it will be this easy to accomplish it. So there is a lot of divine good intent in all of this, what is gonna come. So whatever this surprise is, accept it, embrace it, make it your own. See it as the divine working, because the surprise factor itself will show you that it's orchestrated in a divine way. So let that comfort you. And if you are single and forever alone type of person, maybe you're not single for all that much longer, or maybe you weren't looking for love in the right places. Maybe love wants to find you, but you just need to open yourself in a way that you have not done before. Or maybe this means that love is not in the mind. And maybe this was what you did wrong in the past. You expected mental compatibility, and mental compatibility isn't optional. This is where it's just, if there's two wills together, the mind can become compatible like this. But when the mind does not want to become compatible, that means it will never ever ever work, because the mind is warning you that don't want to process this person's information. So maybe this is a big lesson for someone out there listening to this, that if your mind cannot find rest with a person, it will never work, because there is something that your mental sphere rejects. And when the mental sphere rejects something irrationally, that immediately means that there is a paradox between you and this person. A radical either worldview or something, an information that is not allowing your relationship to work as it should. So it will come to a confrontation at a certain point. But this is upright. So whatever this is, it's delivering love into your life one way or another. Of course, for some people it's not romantic. It can be a collaboration is a keyword in 2022, and especially right now when Venus is moving into the sign of, not yet, but she's preparing. because then Venus sextiles the North Node, and that's good news for love. Oh. The star reversed, yeah. Our future vision, our future view changes. Yeah, the future is gonna be different than all of us expected right now. So this is where predictions will be zero. And the lovers reversed. Yeah, this is where definitely an alliance is gonna be revealed. One way or another. So let's see. Oh, and there's another card. Let's see what the guidance is. Two of coins reversed, seven of swords. Three of cups. Tower. Yeah, this is not an easy energy. What this says is simply if we can prepare or need to prepare for something, that is big changes. And this is the guidance really. Big changes. This is where we should not really, there's nothing we can do, and it's ultimately not bad, and neither should we look at it and perceive it as bad. This is just a necessary change. So don't panic if your job becomes a little bit unstable. Don't panic if your financial situation is fluctuating, not in balance, because that also means that sometimes you get more than you would normally, so it's not anything bad. But the divine will keep the flow going. It will never leave you without. And for a lot of people, the two of coins reversed is good because status quo change. If you're not doing that very well and you've been struggling for the past I don't know how many years, this can be the opposite of that. But the seven of swords reversed, this is a lot of truth coming out. A lot. Three of cups reversed. This is where manipulation is gonna be so visible that we won't be like there. We don't really need to be worried of how much we are manipulated and stuff like that, because we will know. It will be very very visible. And so this is where don't worry. Really, don't worry. Mind your own guidance, epiphanies, dreams, whatever that you have been given personally by the divine, because everyone kind of knows what them personally need to do. Need to do in the sense that they don't need to be worried really, because everyone got the same thing. Don't worry, just watch it, view it, witness it unfold. The death reverse, this is where the death reversed. So there is a lot of regeneration, healing, and renovation, if that makes sense, renewal. That actually this is provoking or producing or. And the high priest reversed. This is where, yeah, financially, the World Bank high priest Taurus, for example, and certain government or leadership or the political composition of whatever a state or globally, well, reversed, yeah, that has to change. That is gonna change. And the tower is self-explanatory, but this can mean global financial economic collapse or an economic attempt of reset. But as I said, everything this is for almost like for a renewal, so we shouldn't really judge it as just a simple tower moment. Yeah, Six of Cups reversed. We can predict. There's not even any guidance. Just the guidance is to have faith, be strong, We already are who we need to be. For us at least, everything is flowing and in flow, and basically a lot of us literally already learned to tap into the power of love that realizes itself. So basically we kind of have what we need, but the Six of Cups reversed. We haven't lived anything like this, neither have we heard stories. So this is that something new or unusual that might be coming this year, and but of course, as I said, not calamity. We should not see this as calamity or doom and gloom. All the earth changes are very very likely, but that's always been like that. But politically as well, value and the world economy. But as I said, not we must not see it as anything bad or disastrous catastrophe, because there is immediate regeneration there. This, whatever might be the disruption, won't last. There's immediate solution and regeneration there. So I do hope that this helped. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope that you don't mind that this wasn't a pick a card. This is where it was for everyone collectively. So until next time, bye for now.